So I'll go ahead and get started.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Great. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of the Wednesday, September 13th, 2023 remote meeting of the Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee was posted on the township's website and electronically transmitted to the officially designated newspapers, indicating that this remote meeting would take place via Microsoft Teams at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, September 13th, 2023. We can go ahead and do roll call.
Okay, Vanessa Jones,
Present.
Anne Marie Orleski,
Here.
Mark Fortin, we know is not here tonight. Christopher Gonda.
Present.
Okay, Jim Kolagowski.
Here.
John Hurling is not coming tonight. And Jignasha Patel, we're waiting on her. She's coming late. And Mayor Kramer's not here.
Okay. The next item on our agenda is the approval of our August 9th minutes, but I believe those are not ready at this time. Is that correct, Tara?
Yes, I didn't get the minutes. So, oh, here's Jignasha. I did not get the minutes, and I wanted to ask about that. I wasn't sure. Is Chuck definitely now is he off for sure? Or
So he had told me that he was not able to do the minutes, but he was planning. I thought he was planning on coming to this. He was going to try to come to this remote meeting.
okay, all right,
But they have they did move. They did officially move.
they did. Okay, got it. Okay.
So that's something that I don't know, Tara, at what point in the agenda do you think we should talk about that as far as assigning a new secretary and how we want to go about that?
Yeah, I think we should do that. And also, has Chuck submitted to you like his resignation letter or? No,
No.
okay. So we probably should get that from him, even if it's an email, that's fine. I can ask for him for that. And then we can talk about that, the writing of the minutes, and then potentially reaching out to a new member.
Okay. So should we do that under new business?
Yeah, that's fine.
I guess in the interim, but we need somebody to take minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about it now because we do need to figure out the minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you who are new, like Chuck had, done minutes, really transcripts, by looking at using the recordings, but that's not required. What's required is to simply note the actions that are taken, anything that we're voting on, those types of things. Tara, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I mean, you basically have to note the motions, a little, background sentence of kind of like what we're talking about. That would be good. You basically have to note who's present. So some people do take minutes very detailed, which is great. And then there's some that it's just very simple as long as you're catching the motions. But we do need some, a little something that explains like we're talking about this and here's why and here's what the result is.
And yeah, and essentially you can do that within the template of the agenda.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And all you have to do is just add in for that.
Right.
And in the past, it's been done where you have one person who is the secretary. And it's also been done where people took turns. So just for tonight, can we have a volunteer who's willing to record the minutes for this evening?
I'll volunteer.
Thanks,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Okay.
So when you're done with the minutes, just prior to next month, Chris, you can just email them to me and then I email them out with the whole agenda and everything.
Perfect.
So just like a week before the next meeting would be fine.
Okay.
Is there anyone interested, I guess, in wanting to be the secretary, like, moving forward? Because that's the other option.
Outside of the meeting minutes, what are the other responsibilities?
Oh, that's it.
That's it, yeah.
Oh,
That's the main responsibility. We can think about it for sure since we have someone for tonight. And, if someone wants to be the secretary, that's great. If not, you said, Vanessa, prior to that, you would all just take turns, right?
Yeah.
And we've done that in the past before Chuck bravely volunteered to do what he did.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that
yeah,
sounds good. Rotation. I was secretary for a while. Unless I
Mark,
nominate Mark,
Oh, there you go.
that'll learn him not to not attend a meeting.
Right.
There you go.
well, yeah, well, it also looks good on a resume.
Yeah. All right, well, everyone can think about it, and if someone decides that they want to be the secretary, we can talk about it next time, or we can just either ask for a volunteer or just like go down the list, like Chris did it this month, so next month, who's I under now, I have Jignasha under there. So up to you guys.
Okay. All right, thank you. Thanks, Chris, appreciate it.
you're welcome.
Tara, is there a need to open for public comment?
Hold on one second, I'm just writing this down so I don't forget. Okay, no, we have no attendees present.
Right. I think it'd be very hard for someone to find us.
Seriously. It's like,
It took us 20 minutes to. to
I
go-
really think like having the WebEx still there is the problem, but I can't even get into WebEx to like to stop it. So I'll have to see what we can do about that.
I think someone just needs to reach out to, WebEx, the company, and, notify them.
Yeah,
I know.
I'll talk to IT about it.
Yeah. That's very confusing when you're getting a reminder alert,
Ugh,
right? You're like,
I
okay.
know,
And you're
I
not
know.
getting it from Microsoft Teams.
Right. That's the worst. Yeah, I know.
We'll figure it out. Okay, the next item on our agenda is the Pathways and Trails Plan. I
Perfect.
know we have the trails mapping needed. And Tara, I know you'd linked the tracking sheet. I'm still negligent in doing my part on that.
That's okay. The good news is that I did speak with AT this morning, our GIS specialist, and and I haven't had a chance to look at these because I just got them just recently today. So I do have some mapping updates so that I can share with everyone if you're interested in seeing that.
Sure.
Okay, let me get my share button now. Let's see. Okay. I want to share my screen. Yes, I do. Okay, give me 1 second here. Oh my gosh, now I'm like frozen. Can you guys still hear me or no?
Yes.
We can hear you.
Okay, sorry, everyone was frozen there for a sec. Okay. All right. So, and you can all see my screen.
Yes.
All right. So he made changes, it looks like. Okay, so from here up. So I guess let's start with this one, the Demont Lane walking path, which is relatively simple. Okay. So we had looked at this previously and we just had asked AT to make some changes. We wanted notes showing where the Marconi Plaza was and the towpath. The legend, we wanted the stream on there. So he's put that on there. And then that's it for that map. We got the QR code. This one's relatively simple. He also should have given me, okay, before I move on, let's see. So this one is pretty simple. If you guys all think this is good to go, then I can like publish this map and then it's also ready for the Pathways and Trails plan. Oh, we also noted here where Middle Bush Park was and the municipal complex.
I would just say if the lettering can be in a different color, because it seems to be very similar to the roads or the plots.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying? Yeah,
yeah,
it kind of doesn't stand out. The locations, Municipal Complex, Middlebush Park.
okay,
That's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, because I'm looking at the the plots and they're all kind of gray.
got it, okay.
Yeah, does the map require this much detail, or is this the template and format for all of the maps that we would include for the on-road or paved paths?
So this amount of detail was requested at our last meeting, the roads, the
Okay.
main roads, the stream, and the locations, just as kind of like a wayfinding kind of thing. The trail ones you'll see don't have this much detail, so I'm guessing, yeah, the road maps will probably be more like this.
What about the parcel divisions? Those were requested. I apologize for going back to.
That I don't know, because I was just looking at the same thing. I don't know if they were. I mean, they're probably not they're definitely not necessary. So maybe, you know what it is, I think? Probably because we're identifying specific parcels, the whole parcel layer is there. I don't know if he's able to highlight just those specific parcels and gray out the rest, or were they requested? I'm trying to think now. I feel like they were requested.
Well,
don't
I feel
remember.
like unrequesting it because, yeah, as Chris says, it's a lot of detail that's probably not needed, right?
Okay.
At least the parcels, maybe, the main roads and, the labeling, New Brunswick Road and JFK and things like that, important, but yeah, all the parcels kind of loses a lot,
Okay, that's
the eye.
fine.
That's my,
I can ask him to do that, and we can just highlight, Middlebush Park, Municipal Complex, Marconi Plaza.
And we're all familiar with this part of town from this view. My only recommendation is that he includes, maybe I'm just not seeing it where it is on your screen tab, but Easton Avenue.
Oh, yes,
Um,
it's up here. Yep, it just was
okay.
off screen.
And his legend, if the background of that text box could just be a little
Yes,
more whitened, because it's just interfering with the text.
got it.
It's, yeah, same thing with the other labels. Just the contrast is not working.
Okay, labels for locations. Yeah, that actually would probably solve that if it was just on a white background with like different lettering. Okay, I can have
So
him do
my
that.
the other thing I'm wondering about is I know we haven't done it yet, but once we do have JFK measured, done, would we want that on a separate one, or would we want to just, because I mean the majority of it is already here, would we want it on the same map?
Um, we probably would want to have them on the same map, but maybe showing like, I wonder if we would probably make a separate map called John F. Kennedy Walking or Biking Trail, but we would show them both on. So it'd almost be like a duplicative map, but we would put them on
Okay.
separately, just like on the website, just to make it easy for people to find.
Okay.
do you want to label Inman Park? Just a
Yes.
question. I don't care one
Yes,
way or the
we
other.
should. Yeah,
yeah.
we really should. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, while we're on this page, right?
Yes, agree.
Yep,
Okay.
I like that idea too.
That, yeah, that should be labeled for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
All right, so that's that one. Let me go back. Hold on. Close this. Okay. Close that. All right, give me 1 second. Let me, is it under? All right. Sorry. Okay, let me get to the next one. All right. So then we have the Colonial Park Trails draft. So this is a new one. I don't think we've seen. This is his draft. So he said if it's labeled, he wrote, It's marked as draft. Okay, because he knows they need tweaking. Okay. So Colonial Park is a county park, and we had talked about should we be, GPSing this? We talked about this a while ago, and we decided yes, we should, because the county's map, first of all, doesn't have all of the trails on it because there's been some new loops. And secondly, because it's in Franklin and it's so widely used, we wanted to add it to our inventory. So these have been GPS. I did these. And so for example, on the county's map that's online, they don't actually have this all of this correct. The Lois Howe Trail. This is in the wooded area. Also up by the Howe complex, there, is another trail there which wasn't shown before. So these have been GPS and he has them on there. It looks like he basically just like took what I actually walked and put it on there. So he has to smooth them out. But if you have comments besides the smoothing out, I think, we can let him know that too.
So that pink, those 3 parking areas are together, and then there's like a pink trail coming out there.
Yeah.
At the very end of the red, there's that bright goldenrod trail leading out to, looks like the canal and the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's that pink trail?
So there's a trail now around where the spray ground is. That wasn't, and it like kind of leads into where the gazebo is back there. So that's not on the county map, but that is a trail.
Okay, just wondering. All right.
The 3 parking areas, I don't know that we need the 3 parking signs because it is 3 parking areas, but it's kind of like a connected parking area.
Mm.
It's kind of busy, right?
Well, they are separated. The first from the right-hand side is the one by the mini golf,
Right.
the little pond.
Yeah.
And that one is not connected to the other 2.
That one is not
What's
Oh, right, because there's the playground in between. You're
Yeah.
right. Maybe just the parking sign. It's like just seems like the parking signs are the first thing that stick out. Maybe they're too big. Like I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, if you could just move those icons over to the side, then that should be fine. But I I think what's throwing me off is that you don't know where the road is that goes through the park. And I imagine that's a landmark for a lot of people. And I know some of these paths cross that road.
Yeah. So the red path, that is alongside the road.
Yeah.
Mm.
But you want to see the actual road you think on there or
Well,
We
otherwise it
see
looks
the
like
other roads.
it's on the trail.
yeah.
And the towpath is not labeled.
Okay.
So I think that's a
Right.
big benefit of that, the trail at Colonial Park connects to the towpath, right?
Yeah.
Right. And if we're including all the parking lots, there's a parking lot by the perennial garden, and there's also a parking lot by the rose garden, which is not on here. And that's fine, but it's just for people who've never been there before, this would be very confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. That and the towpath definitely has to be labeled. Okay. All right. Um, and then I have the same notes down, like for the legend, that it needs to be like we can't really see it. Um, what else? Anything else you guys see like right off the tops of your heads or?
Well,
If you
just
can do away with the parcels again, I don't know if that can be deleted or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's it. The roads, the parking lots.
Okay. All right. So then we have the Bunker Hill Natural Area. Is this one? Nope, this is the most recent one. Bunker Hill and Franklin Park. Okay, I'm just gonna, I'm just gonna enlarge it for right now. And cause there's a lot to see, and then we'll move up and down. So let's go. Come on, okay. Oh, man. All right, here we go. Yeah, so see, this is way too many labels over here, right?
Yeah.
Like all these streets, the smaller streets, I think on this one do not need to be labeled. Probably just
No.
Bunker Hill Road and
Yes.
Route 27.
Right. And I think on the other side, you're gonna want Old Fleet, but that's, that's it.
Mm.
Okay. I'm just writing only roads labeled should be Old Fleet. Route 27, Bunker Hill. Okay.
I know. What does that say in by the Peach, John Clyde, what? MNGP?
Oh, John Clyde. It's supposed so it's the John Clyde. Oh my gosh. John Clyde Grassland. I'm sorry, John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve.
Oh, that is right. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Okay. But I thought John Clyde didn't start until after you get to the housing development. I thought that was still, I thought that was, I might be wrong, but I thought that was still Bunker Hill until you went through that housing development. And then on the other side of it, John Clyde started. Does anybody else know?
No, I think that's
Yeah,
a
I
good,
believe,
I didn't know it was there either. I didn't know that that's what it was called there. I thought it was that kind of self-contained within the grassland itself.
Right. So
but
this,
Vanessa, I feel like this trail where it is that orangish, I feel like that's still the red trail.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think you're
Yes.
right. Yeah.
I think so.
There should just be like an arrow pointing that way.
Yeah, it should be red. Like where it's peach, it should be red.
Yeah.
Is that, and that's the one that goes, yes, I see it. It does go through behind the neighborhoods
Right.
over there too. Okay. Yeah, so that is the red trail.
So this is red. Is this correct here? This being blue?
No, no, I mean, no, it's yellow from the parking lot to that yellow loop up top.
Okay.
So that's yellow. And then the red, to the left is red. Like so that little red bridge, to the road and to the main line by the parking lot.
right.
That's red. That's red, but from the parking lot all the way to the top part is all yellow.
Okay.
And then inside is blue. So
The inside is blue.
the
Okay.
inside, yeah, so the red kind of just goes to the left over the road, but the blue is when you get to the road, if you go before you get to the road, if you go right, it's blue. And then it's very kind of confusing, but that cut through is also blue. So the blue is kind of like has that side with the red.
Okay. All right.
And the color, that brown looks very red.
It does. Yes. I have it. The colors need to be corrected. So I'll take care of that. Yeah.
Even this, there are two blue color. One is a dark blue in the middle, and the one is at the periphery, which is the longer trail. Seem to be a longer trail all around.
I think
This
that's
you
the
mean
stream.
here?
Kind of
It's a
like, yeah, this one where your cursor is.
It's a stream, and that I agree. I was looking at that too. That is confusing.
Yeah, even in a previous map also, I was a little bit confused. Like at first sight, it looked like it's a trail, but then, and I tried to read here, but it is so small, I'm not able
Yeah.
to read it very clearly.
Okay. I will, yeah, the stream needs to be a different color blue. Like if that's the light blue, then the blue
Stream
trail
can
on the
be
inside should be
blue.
darker or something.
Right,
agree.
yeah. Or maybe little, I don't know, like aqua green color for water.
Yeah,
Blue or aqua green, little dark blue or aqua green would work.
got it.
But the paint and everything that we're using is a dark blue, right? Like that's what the
Yeah.
current trail markers are. So that light blue doesn't really fit for
Right.
the trail.
Well, it
Mm.
should be consistent. It should be the same blue that we've been using on all the other maps.
Also, this if already discussed, I'm sorry about that if I have missed it. But Bunker Hill Road name can be moved a little bit on the left side, so it can clear up this legend.
Yes.
It's right on top of the legend, right? So in the actual map, it won't be clear about the legend, and that is the only one sign here. So if it moved a
Right.
little bit left, it can clear it up.
Okay. That works.
And the other two icons overlap, the kiosk and the parking.
Yes, I saw that too. Yep. Alrighty, let me just move up a little bit. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now now we're moving up to the Franklin Park area. I wonder too, should we have a bigger, like, should there be something that basically says like from here to here is the Franklin Park natural area and then here down is Bunker Hill?
Tara, so part of me is wondering why we're still calling these two different things.
Yeah, I
Like-
don't know.
I mean, my understanding is that it was one was acquired and then the other one was acquired. Like,
Yes.
and so but they are connected. So I just don't understand why. I guess I'm wondering if it would make sense to just have them have one name.
Yeah. I don't know why. Well, I know why. So they were bought at two different times. But I don't know why it wasn't just added to the existing Bunker Hill area. I'm not sure why that was like what the purpose was behind that, but I could try to find out.
Yeah, so I think I don't know if other trail members have other thoughts, but I just to me it would make sense for it to just be the Bunker Hill Natural Area, with two trailheads.
Yeah, I agree. That would make it a lot easier. A lot easier. I know we should probably keep Butler Road labeled maybe too. Okay. Yeah, so this one is gonna require like a lot of work. So any other comments on this one?
Can you scroll back up a little bit? Yeah, okay. No, I think that's the lollipop part of that. Oh, I don't know why the Franklin Park side of it is blue. That's the brown trail.
Okay, right, yeah. I don't
Oh,
either.
because he has Franklin Park Natural Area as its own trail and it has it blue.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know, maybe I don't. Maybe it would make sense to have those different colors, to have that inside the new additional loop that I did. If we wanted to have that could be a different color. I don't know what makes the most sense.
Or so this is the blue one going toward the Catalpa farm, right? The old village
Yes.
road, and it is the Catalpa farm area. If we have the map for Catalpa farm, we can see what color is used in that, and we can keep exactly the same color for this trail on this map also.
Yeah.
It's brown. It's brown.
It's brown, then yeah, we should keep brown only here.
Yeah.
So Jignasha, what I was questioning was like the one that he has as brown, which is like looks more red in this picture. That wasn't originally there. Well, only a small section of that was there. and I added a big loop to it. And so I was questioning that, like I was questioning like, oh, should that still just be an extension of the brown trail like it is currently? Or would it be would it be better to have it a separate color? But I'm fine with it all being brown like it is.
Yeah. All right, I will get these. And there's a parking area over here too, right?
Yeah, there's a
Right.
parking area, and there's a
Yeah.
trailhead. Like, are
Yeah.
the kiosks not marked on here?
They're not. Parking area and kiosk missing.
From the other
Here.
side as well?
There is a marker there, but I think it's covered by a road sign. Oh no, here it is. See, it's supposed to be this, but it's like overlapped with the parking, so
I see, yeah. Yeah, and it's much further over. It's near that, yeah.
even well, this here, so this is the road crossing symbol where this person, but it's covered by here. So that's, that's dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I just got these and I will I'll send all these comments and we can have him fix that and hopefully next month also give us some other drafts as well.
Okay.
Let me see. Is that the only other ones? Bunker Hill. Let me do this. Colonial. Why was Negrina Podi done 9 hours ago? That is done.
That's done.
I'm like, let's just double check that.
Hey,
But yeah, that one was done. Maybe he just opened it to like check the colors.
maybe.
Can we go back to it for a second? Was the kiosk, where was the kiosk on that one?
Uh,
There.
That's not where the
What?
kiosk is, it?
no, it's not. It's supposed to be here.
The kiosk is just up a little bit from the parking.
Yeah, I feel like that moved though, because that was definitely not there because we went over that. I wonder if he opened it to like copy something out of it and moved it by, because that definitely was not there.
Yeah, it's further up the hill.
Yeah. I agree. Kiosk sign has been moved. Okay, let's just, I mean, I'll double check what I have, but we went over that carefully. So that was, I think that's been moved like maybe accidentally.
Okay. No, I just noticed that. I didn't notice it was a weird spot.
That's good. Good eyes.
And then let's see here. So the trail length, so I have him put them in the spreadsheet here. And let's see, did he put in DeMont Lane? Yes. Bunker Hill, natural area. Okay, so this hasn't been updated yet. He's probably, I guess, waiting for our comments. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm gonna have to get these fixed. All right, I will bring back the feedback.
Thanks, Tara.
Okay. All right. Okay, let me stop sharing, I guess. It's difficult because let me stop sharing. I need to, in order to finish the pathways and trails plan, I need the trails mapping done because I need the trail lengths and we need the mapping for the document. So I'm trying my best to kind of get it moving. So hopefully, we can just get these maps in there and done so I can just finish it up.
Yeah, and I know I told you I would finish up I'd finish up those missing parts for Bunker Hill Franklin Park. So I need to do that.
Oh, yeah, but the other maps that we've been waiting on, like I could be working on those in the meantime,
Okay.
Yeah, Memorial Forest still needs to get done too, and that's a real tricky one because the blazes that were done were so hard to find. But I
Yeah,
did do Chuck and Diana, so I think I can recreate it.
okay.
If you need help, let me know, Anne Marie.
Okay. It is blazing a little bit of a new trail there.
Right. Right. Tara, anything else for the Pathways and Trails plan?
The only other thing also relates to the trails mapping. So, as Vanessa had mentioned, I sent out the Google sheet that basically shows, what we need, what's left. So I have it up here. So there's a few segments that need to be done. So Vanessa said she's going to do the remainder of the Brown at the Bunker Hill. There's parts of the Environmental Center and Graber Woods that have to be finished. Memorial Forest. And then at Middlebush Park, there's the White Trail, which is the kids trail. I mean, I just have to get out there and do that. That's simple. I could probably do that before my next open space meeting, maybe. Naaman Williams Park, we'll do that when we go out and do our visits. And then the Van Wickle House, I am going back there in a few days. So I'll try and at least map some of those because that's relatively simple. But we really don't have many left that actually have to get done. Really, what I'm waiting on is the mapping to be completed. So but if anyone is able to finish up these, remaining pieces, especially this one, if anyone's familiar with this area and can do it, that would be awesome.
I will aim to do it before the next meeting. We're talking about the Graber Woods
Oh,
and the
cool.
Environmental
Yes.
Center, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That would be great. So that's really all I have then at this point for the pathways and trails. Oh, Vanessa, you're muted.
Sorry. So Chris said he would help with the Graber Woods of the Environmental Center section.
Yes.
Anne Marie, are you going to try to do the Memorial Forest?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. It's just been
And-
so crazy with weather. I haven't been out there, and that's a crazy one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the Franklin Park Natural Area, the missing parts of that trail. I'm also gonna try to do the JFK.
Oh,
Okay.
can I ask one question about Memorial Forest? Because when you drive in, which I won't be driving in because there's some deep ruts, so I'm going to be hiking in. So I walk in, you go straight to the back, and you go around that curve, and the trail is in those woods to your left. Are we talking about just that part? That's our trail. That's where the blazes are currently. Well, some of them. We're just talking about that segment. Is that correct?
Yes, because the Open Space Advisory Committee is looking into doing some work at Memorial Forest next year. So I would do just that trail for now because it's probably gonna be added to or changed.
All right. Has there been any more discussion about that road that goes out to, what is it, Elizabeth Avenue, where Colonial Park is? We bought that right of way now. Have we explored that? Has there been any discussion on making that a reality?
We have talked about it at the Open Space Committee. I think that's in like phase 2 of basically doing Memorial Forest first and then having that connection go out to Elizabeth Ave. So it's part of the plan, but that I think is like after the initial work, like the fixing of the ruts that you're talking about and cutting back some vegetation. That is all stuff that has to be done first because in order to get people in there reasonably, the driveway really needs to be, or the roadway really needs to be taken care of.
Yeah. Is that something that's responsibility of the town or the farmer?
That's the town.
All right, because he uses that, so that's a problem.
Yeah,
Not for him, but
I hear you. I hear you.
all right.
Okay. Moving on, Our next agenda item is the site plan review.
Yeah, so no site plan review for this time. There was nothing on our last meeting that was, related. It was really had nothing. There was like a change to an existing building, nothing that has to relate to trails.
Tara, just a quick note on that. There was a lot of public meetings regarding the warehouse by Schoolhouse Road and Canal Walk. Has that any more developments there?
So the last I heard was that the public meetings they've been having have really been taken up by, which makes sense because it's such a large project and, a lot of people are into it. It's been taken up by professionals' testimony because they can only go so long. Then the public session ends up taking a really long time because the way it works is, the professionals have to do their testimony for the night. And then because there is a group of named opposers that are represented by attorney, that attorney gets to go next. So it goes like it goes the applicant's attorney, our planning board gets to ask questions, our attorney, and then instead of just regular public session, the next right of speaking goes to a group that has basically been named and has retained legal counsel. So the meetings have been all consistent of those groups speaking. So I know that it continues. It's going to take a few more meetings probably, and there's going to be a lot of public comments still to come. So it's still under review. The only last thing I did hear was that their most recent application, the applicant removed a lot of their original plan that would have required them to get many of the variances that they initially were looking at. So, but still, there's still some major issues happening there. So we'll have to see how it goes.
Are there more warehouses being proposed?
We haven't really I mean, I shouldn't say we haven't had too many warehouses. There was a time where there was a lot of warehouses proposed. And yes, I mean, there is a warehouse proposed. And I did bring it to you guys a few months ago on Weston Canal Road, slightly before, where Zarapath is? On the right side where they have like the newer side of Zarapath, what used to be the Saloti sod farm. There's a warehouse proposed for there. They are proposing to do a green roof, but that's in the works.
Right.
And there has been other proposals for warehouses in that general area, which has been rough, but we haven't had a proposal for a warehouse, I would say, in like the last 2 months.
All right.
A new one, at least.
Yeah. Thank you for the update. I see
Hey.
Chuck is there.
Hey,
Hey,
Chuck.
You're muted.
Okay, so there's no further site plan review. Now going on to new business. Grant for green infrastructure and trail development at Naaman Williams Park.
Okay, so we can basically start working now on this grant for Naaman Williams Park, because we are getting into a season where we're gonna be able to see a lot of things now if we get out there. So what I wanted to do was show you some preliminary maps that I made just to give you an idea of what we can probably expect and what we're gonna be looking for. And then I also want to really finalize who wants to come and do the site inspections or if we have any ideas for that. So the first thing I looked at is let me look at this first. So give me 1 second. All right. So this is just a basic wetlands map of the area. So as you can see, which we all know about, that the area that we're looking to propose our trail, our wooded trail, is wetlands, and we're all aware of that. The main reason I was looking was because I wanted to see if there was areas of designated wetlands on other parts of the trail, because we are looking to do the green infrastructure improvements. So there's no designated wetlands, doesn't mean that it doesn't get wet out there. It's just like something to keep an eye out for. So then the next thing I did was I used the web soil survey, which is, let me get the map up here. It basically looks at the soil capabilities and restrictions and characteristics and kind of gives you an idea of potentially where some issues might be. So one of the things that we can look at is called flooding frequency class. And so this is the area of Naaman Williams Park, and it basically shows that here are the two types of main soils that we have on there, which is the REHA and the Kleinsville KOC, which I can give you the whole name for that. But the reason I show you this, you see it all in red. The nice thing I like about this is that it's through the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and they give you a lot of information about the actual soils themselves. So our REHA is the Rieville Silt Loam, and it kind of gives you an idea of how much of our area is in this type of soil. These are the two, the Kleinsville Channery loam. It gives you an idea of what the slopes of those are. And then as you go down further, it explains what it is. So this basically says that they classify these soils in terms of how frequently do they flood, and they kind of give them a rating on that. And they consider flooding the temporary inundation of an area, and that can be from runoff or from overflowing streams. So that's how they classify it. So if you look at ours, unfortunately, these two don't have a rating. I'm sorry, the rating there is none. And none means that flooding is not probable. Now, flooding is probably not probable there, but when I show you the next map, which is called ponding, you'll see that that's kind of where our problems are. So they're talking about inundated with water because of weather or runoff. So that's flooding for our area. Now, if you look at the soil puddling mapping, it's called puddling. Again, this is our area there, and you can see the same thing where our soils are. So if you like go down to where the actual information is here, these are ours, which is this one here. The rating on that, which is the Kleinsville, is medium. So to show you where that is, we're talking about this upper area here is considered medium rating for ponding. And then the other soil, the Rieville, is high. And that is where the bulk of our trail is, obviously our existing trail. So puddling, I'm going to show you what they explain it is. It's different than flooding, but it's important. So we have about 66% of that entire area, and that does include some of the residential area, which is important to know, is in this high puddling area. So puddled soils are less favorable for optimal growth because of high soil bulk density and hardness, reduced pore space, and poor aeration and drainage. So that's important for us to know, because those areas that have the high puddling, that's probably areas where really the green infrastructure is going to be the most useful, because first of all, by putting that green infrastructure in, we're going to deal with the compacted soils, and the fact that they have less pore space means they hold less water as it is. So having that green infrastructure there will allow some more water retention, which will reduce the ponding, which is really what the complaint is. The other thing is that if we're doing green infrastructure that involves planting any kind of things, we're going to be aerating that soil, and we're going to be loosening it up. And so I think that, that kind of helps us understand. The high puddling is basically, it says this is the types of soils that are there. And it kind of, it's technical information, but it's helpful, I think. And it kind of, it helps us understand. And it gives you a little definition here, which is puddling is the loss of soil that results from squeezing and churning of soils by tires or tracks or heavy equipment. The particles become dispersed in the water, and then once they've dried, they actually form a crust on the surface. So it almost like turns that area into like an impervious surface. So it's kind of like it's like a cyclical, constant compaction and reduction of that infiltration for the soil. So I just thought that was interesting to know. We basically know this already. We know that this is happening there, but now we can understand kind of the why. So that is another map that I put together. And then the hydraulic, no, let me go back. The soil suitability for natural roads. So I looked at this because obviously we're looking at, putting a trail in of natural surface in that wooded area. I believe both of these are called moderately suited. Yeah, so they're moderately suited to that. And then again, if you know, you can kind of understand here, they're classified as well suited, moderately suited, and poorly suited. So for our purposes, moderately suited means that the soil has features that are moderately favorable for specified kinds of roads. So based on what we put down, there's different, outcomes. So it's important to know that it's considered moderately suited. So we're going to have to be careful and look at exactly what kind of materials we want to put down in that natural area, if any, because we're dealing with a wet area and an area that we know is kind of poorly drained. And then the last one is the hydrologic soil groups. Let me just get it here. Okay. And this again, that's our area. And I'll explain to you what we're looking at down here. So we have a D rating on the Clinesville area, which again is that top, the red area, and the green or blue area, whatever you prefer to call it, is a C rating. And what that means is a group C rating is soils that have a slow infiltration rate when thoroughly wet. So again, that area, once it gets wet, it's basically saying that the infiltration rate, the ability of water to flow through it, slows down dramatically, which leads to the puddling and the ponding. The group D is the basically the lowest rate of infiltration, and that's what we have in our area down by where we want to put our connecting trail. And again, basically that means that they have the slowest, notable rate there, and they have a high shrink and swell potential. Also, they can typically be located close to a high water table, which also is something to think about when we're, trying to locate our trail and figure out what materials to use and things like that. So basically, the long and short of it is that, that's kind of the background work. Like I said, we do know these things because we applied for this grant. But the main thing now is to use that information that we have and use our site inspections to really pinpoint where is the best place to start thinking about siting some of these green infrastructure projects. So I think in order to do that, we go out there with some of these maps and we look and see based on some of the pictures we have. Vanessa took some, we have some from the crime prevention plan, we have some from the grant application, and really see maybe we start off with 3 or 4 spots that we can come up with some green infrastructure, really find out where's the problem, and then we can figure out how to treat that.
Tara, what's the definition of green infrastructure?
So green infrastructure is really any type of natural stormwater management treatment. So it can be a rain garden, it can be porous pavers, it can be grass pavers, it can be a green roof. So really anything that allows water to naturally infiltrate and slow down and stops it from going into our waterway or into our drainage systems, especially at like a really fast rate. The big thing about green infrastructure that's different than our regular traditional stormwater infrastructure, like our basins and the channels, you see the low flow structures. The big difference with green infrastructure is the goal is that you use more treatment options on the site in a smaller scale. So instead of having one giant basin where everything goes to, you really want to find the lower and troublesome spots and put the treatments right there. So it might require a little more, but it's really for the purposes of, reducing that runoff, and that leads to a whole bunch of benefits. Like besides the increased volume, it reduces the flooding, it reduces the pollutants, it naturally filters some of those out. So there's a lot of options there.
Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to think how that could be utilized there.
Right. So for example, there's one spot that we definitely have a picture of, and it shows there's a big puddling area, and one of the residents said every single time it rains, even if it rains for 20 minutes, there's a puddle in this spot, and it basically just takes up the whole area and makes it not enjoyable to walk through, or people don't want to go through it. So that's probably an area where alongside the trail, we might want to think about putting a rain garden right next to it. It's also nice to look at that, and we can use pollinator plants. So that's one option. We might also want to put a trench there. That might be something else. Or put some, dig around the side of the trail and put some grass pavers there. So just anything to kind of soak up that water, or trees. There's certain trees that you can plant
Yeah.
along there. So maybe putting a grove of trees. So it's really figuring out where is that spot and how do we want to do it. And I think at a place like Naaman Williams, because we have money and we're looking to put in 3 or 4 projects, we might want to put 3 different projects. Or maybe that's not the best option. Maybe there's something that's going to be best and we just do that at every spot.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering, because I originally thought, and Vanessa and I had walked through it, and that was a long time ago during the winter. Vanessa, I don't even remember. It was between Christmas and New Year's, that I remember. And at that point, we're talking that some parts of it would probably need a boardwalk or something like that over the trail, because it is a very wet area back there. But
Yes,
this is
yes.
something different you're talking about, because the boardwalk is not a green infrastructure.
No, so the green infrastructure that we're talking about would actually be used along the existing trail that's in Naaman Williams Park, the walking path that's there.
The walking
The-
path, okay.
Yes, the
Well, should we-
boardwalk area, you're right. We would have to probably do something like that for the wooded trail in certain areas just to make it passable.
So now our focus is just on the green infrastructure in the existing trail.
Yes, green infrastructure is along the existing trail. The woodland trail is just a new type of trail, and what we're just going to be mindful when we're thinking about how to design that and get it implemented.
Okay. Thank you for clarifying.
Oh yeah, no problem.
And for folks who are interested, I included in the chat links to examples of green infrastructure by the EPA. So you're welcome to check that out.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.
So next step on that is to get out there and actually walk it and really just, I think we focus on the green infrastructure part first. So I would say, who would like to do that with me, if anyone? And then I would like to set something up for either next week or the last week of September.
I'm interested.
Would that be during a weekend? I can't do it during the week.
I could send out some dates and see what works best for everyone, and then we can see. Do you want me to include you, Anne Marie, and then see if we can make that work?
Yeah, because I'm very curious about this, how we're gonna make that park better for everybody.
Okay,
If you can include me too, Tara,
sure.
thanks.
Yeah, I'd be interested. Later towards the end of September would be best for me.
Okay, so we got Chris, Anne Marie, Jim. Okay, and Vanessa, right?
Yeah.
And Jignash, I thought you had mentioned that you were interested in that part too, right?
Yes, for plantation and what, yeah, I already communicated.
Got it. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna try and send something out for the last week of September. Because I think that would work best. That would also work better for me. So I will send that out. We'll try and get something together so we can do that. And then we can figure out what the treatment, what kind of treatments are needed. And then we can start figuring out like what we actually need to get to kind of get that going.
And if we have to do it during a work day, I'd have to take time off of work, so I need to do either in the morning, like a half day, either in the morning or the afternoon, just not right in the middle,
Got it.
if possible at all.
And then the other thing I'm going to bring with me is in 2020, I think it was, I took this long, I don't know if I would call it a workshop, or it was like a series of workshops at Duke Farms it was called Green Infrastructure Champions. And every week you learned about, it was different things, how to build them, how to design them, how to manage them. So I have all my stuff from there came in this giant binder. So I'll bring it with me. This way we can see, okay, if we were to do this, this is like the types of plants we're looking at, or this is the type of, maybe here it might go better. And there is some interesting information in there. So I'll bring that as well.
Okay.
Now, Tara, with the grant, were we planning on doing like a type of event for community members, similar to the assessment we're doing? Is that something you
Yes.
wanted to make public? Okay.
We are. So I think the best thing is for us to get out there and at least have an initial idea of what we're talking about, because when we have a public hearing, people are going to ask, well, how many are you thinking of doing? What types of things are you thinking of doing? So at least we can say, here's what our concept is. And what do you think? Are we way off? And then from that, we'll get better ideas. So I think we do this first, get our kind of concepts down, and then we can schedule our first public kind of meeting to say, hey, look at what we're thinking about and what do you think? And do you have better knowledge of this? Then we can really get something down on paper, and then we can hold another public event if we want to go there, or if we have a better idea to meet with people that live there, we can definitely do that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Tara, are you meaning to still share your screen?
Yeah.
You are, okay. I'm just seeing myself twice, like I see like, that's fine.
Oh.
Looking at the grant application, should we modify the timeline for the action, the names, of the steps? Like I'm just kind of like looking at the,
Yeah.
the sheet here.
So we don't have to. So when we submit the grant application to Sustainable Jersey, because it's a conceptual project, they're basically looking for kind of like all the activities and a ballpark idea. So as long as we're within, by the time the grant period ends, we'll submit that in our final reporting. So we can basically say, okay, we did all these tasks, but we did this one at this time instead of our original this time.
Okay, so for instance, like the community cleanup days are listed as summer and fall 2023.
Right.
Paper flyers posted, Township's website, t-shirts for volunteers. Like what are we thinking the timeline, I was wondering, should be for that?
So the Environmental Commission, I've been talking to them about them potentially helping with these community cleanups, because they do them for stream cleanup days and they're very familiar with hosting them. So they have had that on their agenda, and we're going to be talking about it again on Monday. So when they're available, when they think it's basically a good time to do it and when they're available to do it, I think if they're willing to do it and it'll help us out, we can kind of work with them. They typically do their stream cleanups in March and April. So I don't think we need to wait until then. We can definitely do it before then. But I think just as we go through the project and, I'm kind of looking at the background of it, I think doing this step first really makes the most sense.
Okay. And then so this idea of a green infrastructure workshop,
Yes.
is that something we do with the community? Because I know part of it is is that what that is intended to be?
Yes, that's one of the community meetings. So it's just a thought that, and we can kind of make that we can either include it into the first meeting, which might be good, kind of explain what is green infrastructure, and then here's what we're planning to do. So I think that would be part of our first meeting. So it's almost like combining those two. And then as we go through this public meeting, we might find out that, you know what, we need to have more, or we need to have a different based on whatever feedback we get back. We might have to go somewhere else to meet people. So it's going to really, I think that first public meeting will help us. But yeah, the green infrastructure workshop, I think it's like part of the whole first thing.
And what are you thinking about the timeline for the public meeting? And is that when you say public, we're talking, I know, because we also talked about doing something like in the neighborhood, right? Trying to create a groundswell of interest in the neighborhood. Is that what you're talking about for the meeting? Or are you thinking of something more like in the municipal complex?
I think we could, it's really what you guys prefer. I mean, I think for the first go around, I think we want to get as much feedback from people as possible about, are we putting these in the right spots? I think that's the first thing. Like, are we right? Because we're not always here all the time. So we might want to go to the park and hold it there, or maybe we want to hold it at the rec center. So I would say I would like to have that meeting as soon as, I think if we do the site inspection in September, we meet and talk about it at our October meeting. I'd love to have it as soon as possible after that.
Okay,
We could also have it as part of our regular trails meeting, or we could have it on a separate day. We could have, there's, the possibilities are endless. We could try to do something just in the neighborhood if we'd like, absolutely, probably go to the park. So yeah, really, it depends on, what we come up with, I think, first.
okay. Okay, great, thank you.
All right, and I'll send out an email with dates.
Okay, thank you. Is there anything else related to the Naaman Williams project?
I don't think so. I think we're good right now.
Anything else for new business?
Well, we want to talk about the open position, right? Under new business?
Yes, yes, yes. So Chuck, thanks for being here. It's great to see you. It's great to see you. So we were, we know last month you told us about your move. And so we're just, are you, that's confirmed as far as your move? And are you planning on resigning from your position?
I think I have to resign now because I'm no longer a voting citizen of the township.
Okay.
I think all I can do is simply act in consultation with the committee or in that role.
Okay.
So yes, I guess. Would you like a formal letter of resignation, Tara, or is it, how would you like to do that?
Even an email is fine. If you want to just send me an email that says, I'm submitting my resignation effective now, and because I've moved, that would be fine. And the same for the open space. You can put it actually in one email if you want. You can just put from open space and trails.
Yeah. I would like to just express the opinion that I believe it's very important that an active member of the Trails Committee be serving on the Open Space Committee as well as a voting member.
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that the Open Space Committee will approve that. I've been talking with Vanessa, and Vanessa has sent a very nice application, and I think it would be very important for her to be appointed and serve in that role.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we need more uppity women on the Open Space Committee.
You're good at nudging, Chuck. You're a good nudger. So Anne Marie and I did rock, paper, scissors.
All right. So does anyone, I guess you don't have to know right now or saying it right now, but if anyone knows anyone that would be interested in serving on our trails committee for the open seat, that would be great. If they are interested, they, just basically need to submit their resume. They can send it to me, they can send it to one of you, and then we can try to talk about it and then get a recommendation to the mayor on that.
I don't have anybody at this time, but I will continue to keep looking. I know we've had some people, regulars on the hikes. Chuck, I know the hikes, your 55 and older hikes, we've had a few people who are consistent, who I always try to nudge for them. So I don't know if that's something, if we want to look back at those lists of people and kind of reach back out again to see if maybe they're in a better position to consider. But those are the only folks I can think of at this time.
Okay. All right, so if anyone knows anyone, or if you get someone that you think of from that list, let me know, or let them know if you feel comfortable talking to them, and we can try and do that.
Okay. Yeah, so like Chuck had said, there is the opening on open space. I am applying, but anybody on trails who's interested in applying, please do. Like Chuck said, it's good to have another vocal trails person on that committee. Moving on to old business, bird blind at Negri.
So I wanted to do some more research on this month, but I just have not gotten to it. So I have it on my list of to do, which I will get to. This month has kind of been consumed. Um, I think I said at the last meeting about the garden grant that we got for the garden at Van Wickle, and that is under a very serious time constraint. So it has been really, really moving quickly. So that's been taking up my time, but I do want to get this bird blind going. I also haven't heard back from uh the person I was speaking with about doing the plaque for Melba, because I had showed you all that one, the street sign, and then we thought maybe something else. So I did submit to him an example of a plaque on a rock, and I gave him the measurements, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet. I know he was going on vacation for 2 weeks, so I did reach out to him again, left a message. So once I hear back from that, I can present those two things from you, but I really do want to get this bird blind situation under control.
Tara, we talked about the plaque either on the rock or on the side of the bird blind itself? Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, they don't provide the one thing he did tell me is they don't provide the rock. So most people get a river rock or they buy a boulder or whatever. So I always thought that they came together. I did not realize that. So really, we were just paying for the plaque, regardless if it's going to be attached to the bird blind or the rock.
Okay. The next item is the plaque, which we already talked about.
Yeah.
And then trail walks and events. I know, Tara, you had shared a sign up to help us kind of track, titled it Quarterly Hikes and Community Events. And I know some people did take a look at it. I know some people were emailing but didn't put it on there, so I kind of wrote some notes in there. I don't know if that's something we want to take a look at. Tara, would you mind sharing that so we can take a look at it as we're talking?
Sure. Okay. Yes. Give me one sec here.
While you're setting up, I can help with the astronomy event trail hiking thing on October 7th. If anyone wants to join me, that'd be really cool.
Oh, great.
And what
Okay.
time, I refresh my memory, what time is that hike? Because I know we had to move everything up.
Yes, I want to say, hold on, I can get that
Okay, sure.
that time. Uh Give me one sec here. Trails.
And Vanessa and Jagnisha, how is the walk on this, unless you're going to talk about it? I mean,
Oh, on October 7th, it's a 7 o'clock trail hike, 7:30 astronomy observation.
wow, that's close. Okay,
I can join you, Anna Mary, with this for this one.
awesome, awesome.
We anyway couldn't do the last one, right? Because of the rain on that day. It was canceled.
Was it canceled?
Yeah.
It was overcast, so I didn't,
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't want to miss the opportunity for this one now.
Excellent, all right.
Yeah, it was, we had some heavy rains during the day as well, so everything was just drenched. And then
Yeah.
Zach was canceling the astronomy part. So with the trails being swampy, we didn't think it was a good idea.
Yeah, and that was a terrible rainstorm we had that afternoon, hail and everything, so that makes sense.
So Vanessa, to check back on those dates, I think we're running out of time for the 23rd to 24th for promotion. What do you think? If we were to do a trail running event on one of those dates?
I'm not the best person for time stuff like that. You know, I tend to think we could do things in 2 weeks and we shouldn't. So I'm not a good judge.
9/23 you're talking about, right? It's 9/13, so that's 10 days. I don't know. Oh, because you want to have a scavenger hunt and everything, right?
Which one of you, could you scroll down a little bit so we can see that
Yeah.
Chris is?
Oh, they're listed at the bottom because more detail is required.
Yes, I just put those in as placeholders, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so Chris, I mean, yeah, it does not, I mean, we're not locked into anything. So we can easily change those dates. Do you want to move something to October? Or you want to leave the November 4th as the next one?
I'll have to get back to you about an October date. I'm trying to remember the reason why we were thinking of the 23rd or 24th. Oh, because it was the last first weekend of fall.
Yeah, the 23rd is the first day of autumn. How cool would that be?
Now, I know we're also looking at the end of September for the Naaman Williams Park assessment. Tara,
Yes.
would that be either of these dates?
Well, I
Or
was
are we
thinking
still-
I was thinking closer to like the third, like the 27th, 28th, the week of the 25th, basically, for the Naaman Williams. But that'll just be us. So that's a little more flexible. Like, I mean, if we have to go into the first week, we can make that work.
And one of the other questions about the 23rd was, I saw on a calendar somewhere that was Franklin Day. Is that right?
Franklin Day. I feel like that's why maybe I think Franklin Day is the 23rd.
Well, that brings up an excellent point. Are we going to have a table at Franklin Day?
Yes, I signed us up for a table at Franklin Day because you all said you wanted one, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
We just
great.
don't know what the
Okay.
date is though.
September 23rd, 12 to 5 at Colonial Park.
Wow.
Okay.
All righty.
I-
So we need to have enough people at the table, huh?
So,
Yeah, considering that, I can be there for Franklin Day. Because we wouldn't, I just don't know if we'd have enough time to promote for a new event on the 23rd.
yeah.
Yeah, that would be rough having it on the 23rd. Yeah.
Yeah, so that brings us to another topic, as far as Parks and Recreation and communication and the posting, as I know even with the rain cancellation, as far as like who do we contact, in order to make those cancellations. I know I believe Gloria moved. I don't think Gloria is still with Parks and Recreation.
She's still there because she responded to my email, but
Oh,
I think
she did?
I
Okay.
think she's getting ready to leave. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, she was gone. Okay.
Tara, I'm sorry, I didn't get that down. What time is the Franklin Day? Is it 12 to 5? Is that what you said?
12 to 5. Yep.
Okay. Just want to get that in. I know on that chart, I had put in a hike that I wanted to do on that same day at 4 o'clock.
Yes.
So that'll
yeah.
need to change as well.
Where did you want to hike, Vanessa?
I wanted my trail. I wanted to do an autumn leaves hike.
Oh, nice.
So I'll just need to figure out a different day for that.
Yeah.
I guess I was, when Tara and I were talking about wanting a document like this, it was just to kind of help us, if everybody wanted to do, one hike on their trail during the year, we get them out here and that way we can advertise them with Parks and Rec ahead of time. And have that to work off of.
Right. Well, we can
No, I think it's a good
definitely,
idea.
yeah.
I was saying, I think it's a good idea. It's just that, I mean, on my personal end, I just haven't wasn't able to get things together for these two events. And considering the other factors with the 23rd with Franklin Day, I just wasn't sure what the committee's plans were. I meant to say something else, but it'll come back to me.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a work in progress for sure. So I'm gonna look at my calendar and pick a different date, hopefully for October, to do a hike at Bunker Hill.
Okay.
And also, Chris, I didn't know, like, for your trail runs, are you wanting to keep them consistently at the at Griggstown, at John Clyde Grasslands?
Yes, that brings me to what slid my mind. Uh, the dates for hunting season and how that impacts which trails we use.
Yes.
I'll have to look at that too before putting more information into here,
So
or
John,
deciding on
John
which sites.
Clyde, John Clyde and Negri are gonna close down on December, I want to say it's 5th, but hold on, I can tell you. Is it the 4th or 5th this year? It's either December 4th or 5th, and it's through, you know what, let me just get you the actual date instead of, hold on.
For of all knowledge.
I know. Where is the best place to get this? Let's try here. Okay. Okay. All right. December 4th through February 17th is when Negri and John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve will be closed to the public. Prior to that, except for Thanksgiving and Christmas Day, they're open.
And aren't they open on Sundays?
And on Sundays, yep.
Right. So that's always Sunday's the safe day.
And to answer your question, Vanessa, no, it wouldn't strictly have to happen at John Clyde for any of the trail run events. I at least wanted to have a beginners or intro event there, or take one more stab at an intro or beginners event, and then move over to other trails from there.
Okay.
No, I was just curious. It's interesting because, like, right now, because the astronomy's happening there, and then the trail hikes were happening there, the trail runs are happening there. It's a great spot. I was curious if some point we would
Spread it out.
switch it up, spread it out. Okay.
Well, yeah, I
Now-
would just say everybody fill in where you can. I mean, the one on October 7th is definitely set. The 23rd, yeah, I would definitely stay away from just because of Franklin Day. And then once you know that you're definitely into your date and you're ready, if you don't mind just sending me an email, because I don't always open the sheet to look at it right away, but if you tell me to, I will. And then I can get a flyer going and get it sent to Parks and Rec. And then if there's any supplies needed, I could try to get those gathered too.
Okay, sounds good. And are there any Audubon hikes scheduled?
I'm just looking now through the Audubon calendar because I did see something and I don't remember when it was. So I'll get back to you in a minute.
Yeah, Tara, I mean, because is open space still scheduling things with Audubon?
So once the Trails Committee and our Open Space Advisory Committee, Chris Williams, started taking over the hikes and doing more, we stopped contracting them to do the hikes because it just became, although they still do hikes on their own at our
Okay.
place. Yep.
Yeah, they did list something here. I can't find it right now, but
I think they
Okay.
did one. I want to say they did a birds and butterflies one in July.
Okay. Okay. And I guess one of the other things I would love, and I don't, for us to have something where we are advertising the hikes, on our trails, at the kiosks.
Okay.
So I feel like we're not taking advantage of that, of people, the walk by folks.
Yeah.
So I think that would be great if we came up with a system I know there's been some difficulties getting into the kiosks.
Just the
Um,
one kiosk, the John Clyde. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. All right. Yes, I know what you're saying. If we can get them out there, that would be good.
Yeah. And then if we had like a QR code for where to find our regular hikes, you know what I mean? Like, for updates, you know what I mean? Maybe we can advertise them and for, look here for any updates. Or, maybe even just a link to the Parks and Rec site, right? Because that's where they're gonna likely register.
Right. Got it. That makes sense. Okay.
Okay. The next item we have is astronomy events. Like Jignash was just explaining, the September 9th one got canceled. The October 7th is coming, and Jignash and Anne Marie are planning to go. I plan to go to support as well. The next item we have is updates on trail conditions from TAC members. My trail, since our last meeting, I had gone back out. I did some trimming on the Franklin Park side. But since then, there's more work has been done. I think somebody from Public Works went through and took some of the bigger stuff. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was.
Good.
The section from the old Vliet entrance to leading towards the greenhouse, the treehouse. I didn't, I didn't get far enough to see around the bend where there had been a fallen tree, so I have to go check that out. But as far as the Franklin Park side, that's my update. I don't have a Bunker Hill side update.
Okay. Anybody else have any other updates?
I don't have an update from Nick right.
Me neither.
Okay.
No
Same here.
updates for my section of John Clyde.
Okay.
Vanessa, I was going to say, if you want to publicize some of these walks, that the township does have a community calendar. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different calendars, but if there's a community calendar where people can put their events on.
Tara, are we already doing that part?
So I don't know. I don't think that IT posts them on the community calendar. I'm not sure. So when I ask for something to be posted, I ask that it be posted on our municipal calendar, our trails website, our Facebook page, and the FTTV notices. So I don't know though if they actually put it on the community calendar as well. So I can check. You know what? Let me see if they put the last one on there. I know they put it on the municipal calendar and the Parks and Rec calendar. Community calendar, let's see. Okay, no, so I guess a member of the public, or if you're interested in putting it on there, you have to, I guess there's something to fill out here. And it takes
Yeah.
3 to 5 days, it says.
Yeah, there's a little caveat. It says the events on the community calendar have been submitted by residents or business owners.
Right.
Township of Franklin is not responsible for the accuracy of individual event details. But it's probably something people look at, so.
Yeah,
And it says
so if,
submit an event, yeah.
yeah, if you click that, it brings you to account login. So I guess you have to make an account. It's free. And then you can request to have these on there. So that's something that we could definitely look into doing if we want.
Okay. That's, yeah, that'd be great. So, but that's, so there's on the website, there's the municipal calendar and there's a community calendar all on the website. Is that right?
Yes, and then Parks and Rec has their own calendar.
And Parks and Rec, okay.
So
There's a-
our stuff gets posted on the Parks and Rec calendar and on the municipal calendar. But I don't think it gets posted on the community calendar.
Okay.
Yeah, there's other calendars too. Police calendar and youth
Oh.
center calendar. So yeah, if you take a look, there's a whole menu or a whole.
God, I
Okay.
had before I
bunch.
forgot. Tara, where did you say it's currently? You said the municipal calendar, Parks and Rec calendar,
The Facebook page,
Facebook.
our trails page gets linked to that. And then I do ask if possible, if they're able to do it, like if something's already on there, to post it on FTTV, when you're scrolling through and you'll see
Yeah.
notices. So, yeah.
I do have an update. The John Clyde Memorial Native Grasslands Preserve Fall Foliage and Bird Walk is on Saturday, October 14th from 9 to
Hello.
11.
Okay,
Hello.
that's
And I
good to know.
That's from New Jersey Audubon. So in case we are planning or thinking of anything that day.
Okay, what's up?
That's the Audubon hike at Negri, right, Anne Marie?
John Clyde,
Oh, John Clyde. Oh,
back to the grasslands.
yeah, John Clyde is getting a lot of traffic.
Woo. Yeah, we got to share the wealth there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right, so are there any other items that we?
I just wanted to ask, so we are coming up to Franklin Day. I did reserve the table. Is there anything you need from me for the table or anything like that? And if so, maps.
Have we, did we order more maps? Like,
No. So our maps because we're working on printing new maps, I printed out a bunch of the approved maps, which were Negri and Inman and Butler Road. I put those all in the kiosk, and when I went back, they were already gone. So that's that. We print them though, basically ourselves now in-house. I can print out I guess I could ask for the old maps to have at the table, but the
I was
new
thinking
maps
of the
aren't all
big map.
done.
I was thinking of the things to do map.
Oh, the things to do map. Oh, no, we don't have any more of those left. And I don't think that they're getting reprinted as far as I understand.
Oh,
not?
I'm
That's
not
our That's
sure.
our big giveaway. That's what we,
yeah,
We
those
haven't
were-
had them. I think that we haven't had them in a while, and because I don't know exactly, I shouldn't say because I don't know exactly what the issue is, but the last I heard was that we were not getting them reprinted. I can say that we would really like to have them reprinted.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
great.
I mean,
You're at the
we spent a
table.
lot of time, we spent a lot of time on editing and updating, to make those changes. So we would have that for our events. Like that
Right.
is definitely a high interest map, in my experience.
Yeah, we spend so much time getting the map on one page
Yeah, right.
versus having it cut off on, the little tip at the page 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
When
map.
was
yeah.
when was that done last? That had to have been done prior to 2018 because I didn't work with you guys on that. So do you remember when it was last done?
Oh, no.
I-
COVID, like you said.
Yeah, it must have been right before you started then. If you weren't involved with the Terra, then it must have been
No.
yeah. Like,
Let's see if I can find one. I don't know if there's a date on it.
I feel like, because I feel like they had just been printed or something when I started, I think.
We had lots of those things to do maps and
We
then.
did, they're
and then
gone,
all of a
yes, they
sudden
were all given
like,
out.
gone.
They were popular. But it'd be nice to have one just for a demonstration. Do we have any of those roll-up things
We
or
do.
anything else?
Yeah,
We have-
Anne Marie, we have it on a roll up.
Okay. Do we
So
have
I
those
have the,
roll-ups to attract people to our table?
say that again, Anne Marie?
Do we have any more roll-ups, maps, something to bring in people to our table? I know Chuck, you always had like pictures or something to bring in people. I don't know if we have anything like that left anymore. Because we haven't done it in a while.
Well, we have the 2 roll-ups, right, that we've been putting out at our events, right? The one that says Franklin Township Trails Advisory Committee and the other big things to do map. I don't know, yeah, I don't have any, like, we used to have the pictures from the calendar on like,
Yeah.
on boards. I don't have anything like that.
No. All right, just be our smiling faces to bring people in.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Tara, do you have any of those leftovers? Have you seen anything like that? Where it's like map board that has different pictures from the photo contest that were, just displayed on a map board?
I can check. I don't think I have them though. I thought someone else had them, but I can check and see. Let me see if I can find anything.
All right. And certainly any printed out map that we can hand out would be greatly appreciated. Even if it's an old one, they're not that out of, they're still good.
Okay, so
People like to get something,
I'm wondering, Tara, even if we had like 8.5 by 11 version of the things to do map with a QR code to our website where they could get the individual maps, that might be a nice and less
okay,
expensive approach.
that is a good idea. Okay, so maybe if I can get an 8 and I wonder if it's 4. Yeah, let me. Okay, 8.5 by 11 things to do map.
Or that maybe it might be better on legal size paper, if that would, but something simple.
Link to trails maps. Okay.
I put a link in the chat of the things to do map that I found on the township website. I don't know if that's the same map, but if we could share, or if we had a QR code to refer people to this, so that they have it on their devices. I don't know if that'd be. But I think Vanessa, you're right. We need something physically printed.
Yeah, that's it, Chris.
If
Yeah,
we have
and
something physically printed in a code to this, then that could be useful.
I have some photos also of our trails, and maybe I could just get them blown up and just bring them just as a display on our table or something.
Mhm.
And
Just to add
flyers for
more-
the October and November events, I think could go a long way.
Oh, flyers, right.
Yeah, that we could give people something like that.
So yeah, I think flyers and then also QR codes, just for people who don't want the paper, but want to just to have the links. That'll be great. But people like Anne Marie's right. Some people, because the way Franklin Day is, people go from table to table to get things. Like that's the flow of it. It's like,
Yeah,
so it's
they
nice
get
to have
their
something.
bags and yeah.
Yeah, I wish we could get stickers made. Like if we could get well, that's kind of wasteful, I guess.
I was gonna say, I
Yeah.
found a copy of the
Kind of-
map.
You found a copy of the map where?
Chuck comes through again. He had put this packet together for one of the trails. Let's see, where can I put this? Oh yeah, there we go. Chuck did that, 2019. Thank
Yeah,
you, Chuck.
I have mine too.
But yeah, this is a nice fold out map and it goes pretty well. I think we used to give a lot out at Canal Fest.
And
Yeah.
Franklin, yeah, and 4th of July. That was our big thing.
Yeah. So yes, it's pretty big.
It's a great map.
Thank you, Chuck.
I have the old version like hanging here in my living room. Hold on. There it is, right there. That's why
Oh,
we needed to have two for the front and the back. And it's my favorite thing, so.
All right, I just put an email into AT to see if we can, what we can do about this things to do map and the QR code. So I'll let you know what they say.
Okay. Chuck, did you have, before I thought you wanted to say something, did you have something you wanted to say about trails, about a trail update or no?
Actually, I just wanted to say thank you for letting me participate. I've really enjoyed working with all of you, and it's been a great learning experience for me. I actually learned a lot about trees. I learned a lot about ecosystems, parts of biology that I didn't actually do research on and taught, but now it's becoming an important part of my own experience, I guess. I do have a number of documents that I've been working on, the trails descriptions that we're working on to put in the pathways of trails plans. Which I would like to pass on to you also, but they're sort of not all complete. And quite frankly, I'm sitting in the middle of piles of cardboard boxes, and I'm not sure I can find them just yet. But I would like to pass those on to everybody, and just let me keep me posted. I'll try to keep checking in with you as well. And like I said before, I would be very happy to participate in trails hikes in the future as far as I can go. But I think we're going to need about a year's space here before I can become active again in that area. Yeah. Franklin is a very important place to me, and I think it's very important for you to keep teaching people how unique Franklin is. It's has an extraordinary amount of open space. We have wonderful streams and grasslands and forests, which I think are just not known about. And in some cases, I think they tend to be ignored by people who have other agendas about the Open Space Fund and so on. But so I think the Trails Committee is very important in terms of educating people about our open space and the trails that lie within it. And I think they're really an important voice in terms of maintaining our forests and our grasslands and our streams. So please keep it up. It's you're doing important work.
All right, thanks, Chuck.
Thank you,
Chuck.
Chuck.
The next item on our agenda is adjournment.
Wait,
Can,
before we adjourn, Chuck, are you going to be in this area at all to do Memorial Trail with me again?
I'll be coming back occasionally. I mean, we're still keeping our medical staff there, and so on. So we do have connections. But so stay in touch. Keep me posted about what you're doing, and I'd love to keep working with you.
All right, I'll reach out to you because you, Diana, and I were the only brave ones in Memorial Forest, and I don't know how far I could get without you two. So,
well, I think it's something you need to keep working on. And by the way, you also have an important area that this open space area in Route 514. I think it's an area that's prime for development of trails as well, it's got marvelous forests, got a lot of diverse trees in there that need to be noticed and maintained and taken care of.
wait, what road is that? 514 doesn't ring a bell to me.
Well, it's the Tara knows about it. So we worked on trying to get a new parking area in that, but it's how many acres?
15?
What's that called?
It's We just call it the County Route 518 property at this
It's
point.
518, not 514.
518, but the parking lot is in for the hunters right now. So, yes, so they have been using it, but
I think that would serve as a useful trailhead to develop a trail, but it would take some effort to develop trails in that area, but they would be quite, I think it'd be quite useful in terms of managing our ecosystems in there.
And I think, and Chuck, and to add on, I believe that's also near space that the county acquired not too long ago, right? The
Well,
county
there-
open
Yes.
space?
There are two areas in 514. One of them is midway between Route 27 and Rocky Hill. The other is closer down to the Cullick property.
Yeah.
Okay, that is at the corner of 518 and Canal Road, in that down in that area, and
Okay.
that's a complicated area because
Yeah.
there's county open space property as well as township open space property
Yeah.
in that area that are lying adjacent to each other.
Well, that's why
Right.
I bring it up. That's why I bring it up, because I think it's, like you said, it's ripe. It's such a great opportunity. And the current chair of Somerset County Open Space is a former Franklin Trails member, Chris Kelly.
Right.
So I think
Chris
like what a
Kelly,
great liaison, there's lots of opportunities for us to network
Yeah.
and to think about our trails and county trails. And so it's something we could talk about in a future meeting.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm going to ask for a motion to adjourn. And I know, Chris, you've been taking notes, but really, this is the first thing we voted on, the whole meeting, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so you have really easy notes for tonight.
True.
I move we adjourn.
Can I have
I
a second?
I'm next.
Okay, so Anne Marie made the motion and Shignasha seconded?
I
Is that
think
right?
you are second. Then I say next.
Oh, I think so. Chris, was Chris who seconded?
Oh,
That
yes, I
works.
did. But
Okay.
Jignasha, yet? Okay.
Okay, sorry, I misheard. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All in-
All right. Any
Aye.
abstentions or nays? All right. So moved. Thank you all
thanks,
so much.
everybody.